Thank you all for being patient and welcome. I'd like to call a meeting to order here, Jefferson County Board of Tourism. If you all would please rise. If you have hats, remove them. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance here. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for taking your time to be here this evening. Would like to we welcomed Renee Stevens last month. Thank you again for returning. It wasn't too bad. And our newcomer, Matt Chandler. Thank you for being here. Chandler
Thank you for
Hotel
having
there
me.
downtown Madison. Let's move on to the next agenda item, if you'd be so kind, the approval of minutes. Now, hang on. So December, I mentioned it a while ago, December 2023, I neglected to record it or anything like that. That was my fault. So Winnie and I talked over the phone today about that. She's gonna piecemeal it together based off of conversations with board members as well as the agenda. So next month, we'll approve December of 2023. Is that accurate?
Yes, I'll also get like the marketing report and treasurer's report, so we have factual stuff in there.
Perfect.
Okay.
But we can approve the January 2024. If anyone would like to.
And I would move that we accept the January minutes as presented.
I'll say,
Bring second it?
Yeah.
Any discussion? So moved. Approval of minutes, we did that. Treasurer's report. Dave Bramer, you're up.
Okay, so for January, the innkeeper's tax was $29,268.79. A little less than last year, but there's been a couple years that it's been like that, so. The front side of that, so the back side has all the innkeeper's tax, the front side is just kind of our budget, what we've budgeted for the year, how much is going out, and what we have in a balance for the remainder of the year, and then almost at the bottom, it says beginning balance. That's what was in the fund to start with, and what we've taken out and what's coming in. So the 543,327.23 is what's in the remaining. And then what I do on the bottom line is, okay, we've got this amount budgeted. So it's right now we're a little bit in the hole to transfer anything. We still have for community outreach, there's still $350,000 that will be there that we can use, but it's just that we had wanted other funds. We don't have those right now. Anyway, and there were three claims from VMI. One was for marketing, one was for travel, and then the last was for the next quarter's operational expense.
Thank you. At any time you all have questions, Dave will meet with you one-on-one. Email, phone call, whatever you guys need.
We need a motion to
Yep.
approve.
Do you have a question?
Well, this is my first meeting, so I was just curious with the percentage change in 2022 to 2023 is almost a $10,000 differential. And I was just wondering if there was any like travel trends or anything that we're seeing here locally that maybe we can associate that with. I just am curious if that's anything that we normally would discuss, based on any changes in tourism. I don't know, do you speak at these?
Yes. What's the difference that you're looking at?
It looks like 22 and 23, innkeeper's tax was in about $10,000 higher than 2024. Looks like we're down about 10K between 2022 and 2023. So less heads and beds, it looks like, for that time
Are
frame.
you talking about for the month?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
January.
about 30,000 for January of this year as opposed to 40,000 for the other
Gotcha.
2 years. And I don't know if you.
I need to look, I haven't looked at the detailed breakdown of it that we've gotten, and compared it to our innkeepers, our occupancy numbers just yet, because we just got that on Friday, I think it was Thursday or Friday afternoon. So I haven't looked at that, and some things could have been weird last year too. As far as we could have somebody pay from like December or November, and they paid late and they caught up in January. So I need to look back at that and look at the occupancy, but also look at at some of the other extenuating factors.
Okay.
Not entirely sure.
That's a great question, Matt. One of the things that I've learned by being on this board, because we've had different conversations about, like Andrew was just talking about, just people are late on their payments, and that kind of reflects poorly, on our numbers. And, a lot of times we'll take a look at the aggregate to kind of see if that's more comparable, because that month to month, somebody who has Airbnbs, VRBO, short-term rentals, something like that, they're like, I'm gonna punt this another 60 days or 90 days, and then I'm gonna write a bigger check at that time. So it's tough sometimes. And Andrew's worked diligently and had conversations with Dave and Jim, about trying to get that in almost real time, but that's so tough.
It comes from several different sources. Some of it, hotels pay it directly, some of it comes down from the state. And so you're never really sure if all of your numbers are up to date. They're up to date in terms of what you've received, but they aren't necessarily up to date in terms of what actually happened during the month. Now, we get 2, maybe 3 months. Now you're looking at an average, and the trend will make more sense at that point.
Okay.
And
But that is a big number.
Yeah.
it is a big
this
number to
will-
be
Because
different.
we've been on this way,
Mhm.
and this is the first time we've seen
I would be
I
really
doubt
curious
it,
if you could pull the year-over-year occupancy
Yep.
for that, but also if you notice, our November and December numbers are significantly higher in 23 than 22. So it does make me wonder if there were some people who made payments more
Bigger.
later in the year
Mhm.
versus, maybe making them in January of 23 carrying over from 22. So if you could pull the year-over-year occupancy for maybe the last quarter of last year and then also January, that'd be great.
Yes.
Thank you.
We were, if I'm remembering just right, I think November and December, we were both down a little bit year over year. In 23 versus 22, it was ever so slight. It wouldn't be something that would cause a $10,000 decrease, even if the reporting is lagging a month or something. So, I'll dig into that as I prepare my report for the Visit Madison meeting, next Monday, and I will make sure you guys get that, so.
Can you pull the ADR? You can pull that from the star, right?
Yep.
Because that would factor in as
Yeah.
well as the occupancy.
Yeah, because as we've been talking about some of this, it gets weird because we can't just look at occupancy, we gotta look at that ADR. But you can always tell when there's something weird going on, because if we're up 20% in collections for the month, but, we're up 4%, occupancy, ADRs maybe up 6%, you're still going, there's something else happening here. So some of it's kind of you'll see a bump in the wrong direction later or in the right direction later, and you'll go, oh, that must be from that month, and it's a correction, so. But I'll, as I'm preparing for our board meeting, I'll get that stuff together and send it to you.
One of the other things that we've got to keep in mind too is we're looking at reports a week earlier in the month than we did last year. So there may be numbers that by next Monday would be in that aren't in yet.
Mhm.
Or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you have several months in a row like that, then we might say, well, okay, something's going on, but especially January, December, we've had.
I had heard, and we've got, well,
Okay,
three hoteliers, here, in some form, and so what I heard from some of the hoteliers I talked to, January was a lot slower than the last than January 23. So, that's anecdotal. but it does look like we're seeing it in some of the numbers. Some of it is business. Some of that was down because of some of the projects being wrapped up, here, and some of it was just other factors, so.
Good question. Always ask them. Do we need to make a motion?
I'll move that we accept the report as presented.
I'll second.
Any discussion? So moved. Moving on to VMI update.
All right, thank you. Looking back at my notes, remember what I was planning to say. We are waiting on the visitor's guide. Sorry, I can't do windy. We are waiting on the visitor's guide to get here. We'll have it here in less than 2 weeks. So it is at the printer right now. It's exciting. You've seen it already online. We've got it posted. I think it looks really, really good. Our whole team put a lot of effort into that, and I think it shows Madison, Jefferson County well. We did include a hilltop section in the map. We have a fold-out map this time, which I think is gonna be a really nice addition. Has places to eat on that hilltop map, because that's what we're constantly asked about. We might look at more retail options for this next year, but for right now, it's the place to eat. Then there's an additional emphasis on recreation with like a 4-page spread on recreation and arts, music. Those are kind of the two things we're really hitting on this guide. The front is the kindness mural, so trying to kind of follow that theme of our arts and cultural district group. So we'll have those here pretty soon, hopefully for Girls Weekend, and it's also the same weekend we're starting one of our travel shows. Will be at Heartland Travel Showcase that first weekend in March. So we'll be taking the brand new guides up there. So
And the map also extends to Hanover College and
it
Hanover Park.
does. Yep, we've got there's like a little inset map that shows a bigger view of the area. And we've got Hanover College, we've got different logos on there to show Hanover, we've got Gendy's, we've got Eleutherian College has a logo on there to show where that is. So we're trying to extend that out. We got Big Oaks on there as well. So trying to kind of show that overall look for the county too. So it's not just a downtown Madison brochure.
That's great.
Downtown Madison's awesome, but I started looking through, I said, you couldn't distinguish this really from a downtown Madison map. It needs to be all of Madison, Jefferson County. So we made some changes, I think going in the right direction. So, we'll have that soon. Looks like, I just write these things on here and then I think I'll remember what that is. I guess I'll jump into, I think Terry had wanted to be here for Christmas, nights before Christmas, and kind of give a fuller update on that. She wasn't able to come, but I'm working with her on a final report, same as what I did last year, for economic impact calculators for all of our events. So I want to make sure to get those to you guys before you are reviewing grant applications, because I know those were important for you last year. So I will be working on those over the next couple weeks, and we'll get you economic impact calculators for each of the events. As a reminder, if I don't get information from some of the events, when I reach out and ask them for ticket sales or how much many room blocks they've had, all that, it's really hard for me to put that data together, but I'm gonna get as much as I can to you guys. So, we did take a trip up to Indianapolis. I've taken 2 so far, to talk about, Senate Bill 238, where we've been talking about the innkeeper's tax increase, and we've gotten really a pretty good, reception so far. The legislators had some questions. Jim went up with me to the Senate, and Trevor went up when we talked to the House Ways and Means Committee, and I think it'll be coming up again this week in their committee. So we'll just keep track of it and go from there.
Webpage says the committee's voting tomorrow.
Okay, well, we'll watch it. And then,
Real quick on that.
Yeah.
So if they vote tomorrow and they vote in favor, will that be able to get turned over to city council like our local?
No,
No.
it will go from them to the floor of the House.
Oh,
This
okay.
is the Ways and Means Committee. If they pass it, then it'll go to the floor of the House. If they pass it, it goes to the governor for his sign. If he passes, then it goes to county council for their vote. City council actually doesn't have a vote in this.
Oh, wow, okay. Trevor tried to explain it to me earlier, but I can't follow.
Yeah,
Yeah, lots of follow. Okay.
it is.
There's a couple of steps.
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's been an interesting process.
Mhm.
So, that's all I have. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer those. I will have a more full report. Like I said, our meeting's next week and I'm still working on putting my report together on that. So have some more full for you this next week.
Any questions for Andrew? Andrew, thank you.
All right.
Partnerships and projects, new president, Charlie Rolfe.
Item 3, yep.
Yep,
Correct.
come on up,
All right.
come on up. Victoria brought you a podium, so
Yes, thank you.
there you go.
All right, for anybody that doesn't know me, I think I know a lot of you, but I'm Charlie Roll thing, lived here about 30 years. I did the math. It's crazy. Relative to music, I'm part owner of the Red Bicycle Hall. I write the weekly music column in the newspaper. I've been on the Madison music movement since Todd Boone and Jimmy Davis started it about 5 years ago. Todd's been president for 5 years, took it from just an idea that those guys had, I think over cocktails, and turned it into a real juggernaut. And but he said 5 years, time for somebody else to give it a try. So that's me. The reason we're here is obviously you guys gave us a grant last year. Very much appreciated. I really believe that music, that when a town can tout music, it's a huge driver of weekend getaways, and it's just a really powerful reason for people to choose your town. But they have to know about it. They have to hear about it. So that gets to advertising and things like that. And with the investment that you guys have made, we've been more consistent. We've been more professional. We've been more effective, really. I was the marketing committee guy on M3 in the early years. And I had a little thing I was doing, and I had collected 63 names, 63 people who were opted in and wanted to know on a weekly basis what's happening in Indiana's Music City. And I was just doing it on my Gmail, man. I had an email I'd bring up and it was 63 names. We started marketing really consistently and significantly with the grant that you guys gave us. And all of a sudden, they started coming in by the hundreds, people opting in to be like, I want to know weekly, what's going on? What's happening in the music scene? There's currently about 1,500 people that every week after I write my music column for the newspaper, I take a little chunk of it, calendar and and I put that out on MailChimp and it goes to 1,500 people. Interestingly, we stopped marketing, the money kind of ran out and we just took kind of a winter break. It stops. The new opt-ins, they're driven by the marketing. And I have every belief that when we start marketing again, I'll start getting another couple hundred a month, and we'll just drive that right on up. I think that's 1,500 people that want to know weekly, and those are people that are like week by week thinking, should we go to Madison or not? So it's really, really powerful. So thank you guys for supporting us. We're going to be back again. That's the reason I'm here. We're going to be back asking again. But I wanted to let you know what we did, how it went last time. One thing we were able to do this year is hire an executive director. It's Michael sitting right over there. That puts us on par with the other good, effective, Madison Main Street and VMI and Madison Arts Alliance. They all have, what they all have in common is they've got somebody, full-time or part-time, but somebody who's devoted to pushing that agenda forward. Usually these boards are volunteer and there's so much we can do, but when you've got somebody that's paid to put boots on the ground and get things done, we've been able to hire him to do that. We're super excited. About a month now?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been on the board. So this is Michael Fortunato. He is a community and economic development specialist and consultant. You came to Madison on a job, right? Some years ago.
On a job, right?
Came to Madison on a job, and you guys are gonna love this. This is classic. he's been to so many communities working on economic development, and he comes to Madison, he's like, oh man, I want to live here. That's what we want. I mean, that's amazing. Although it brings the question, if tourists are coming to town and love it so much that they move here, and then they're not tourists anymore, have we done our job too well? I don't.
No,
No. Like that. All right.
as a county commissioner, no, you.
As a yes. But anyway, I mean, it just speaks a lot to Madison that he recognized what was here and just said, I want to be a part of that. Moved here, now owns the Crawdaddy business. He's got a lot going on there. And, he's a hell of a sax player too. And he's the kind of attracting musicians like that is really important. So Michael, you want to tell them some of the accomplishments? we did
Sure,
this year?
absolutely.
All right.
Thank you, Charlie. All right. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
I'm carrying this funky thing with me because it's where I have my notes. So great to see you all. So we've had a really, really good year at M3. And I think we're at this really great pivot point between being sort of a baby organization and hitting the mezzanine stage where we're actually going to start to really, you're going to see a lot more outreach and a lot more impact with M3 over the coming year. But here's what we were able to do this year. Some of the things that we were able to do with your funds and with your kind grant, and we really appreciate the support, is that we were able to join the Americana Music Triangle. This connects us to music legacy towns going all the way down the Delta. It is a very, very big deal and actually really speaks to music history places. But we're able to attend a successful trade show with over 9,000 people in the tent, over 11,000 impressions at that trade show, people coming in and seeing what Madison was all about. And we're using that relationship to actually grow and include musician exchange across the entire triangle. So that means more musicians in here and more of our musicians going out. Not programming, just a little bit. We created a busking program. This was our way of bringing music to public spaces. And common feature in a lot of places. We didn't really have it here, but this creates spontaneous performances on Main Street. And there has been somebody on the street every single weekend since the spring, oftentimes more than one. We plan to expand and grow that program in the coming year. Of course, we have continued with Live Lunch. Live Lunch puts music in the park in Lytle Park every single Friday when the weather's nice, and that's about 25 concerts a year. And it's really interesting niche musicians, free to everyone, and a really, really great time. We were able to support the House of Jane, which could not continue without some support because they're a very, very micro level venue. And that's really, really challenging to do if you want to pay your musicians well also. That really helped Jane to get just a little bit of support she needed to just keep on going and keep one of the most unique venues in the region alive. Mad Hop did our part to support the Organic Local Festival and really keep it growing, and it's only going to keep going stronger this year. And of course, the big thing is that we promoted the message of Indiana's Music City through our partnership with JCBT. We have been getting consistent ads on social media for Indiana's Music City. We have a unique user reach, not impressions, unique users, 950,000. That's pretty good, given the budget that we have. 950,000 people are seeing our stuff. 87,000 people are engaging with our content. Our content's only going to get better this year. That's a major focus of ours, is really keeping it local and showing people what we have to offer, really getting down to the musician level and the venue level. And even though it didn't directly support, because of JCBT funds, we were able to also free ourselves up to do some other really great work. We're working on a plan with the high school to install a recording studio in the public school, which is going to be really, really great. We've been working on encouraging, retaining, and recruiting musicians, and of course, serving as ambassadors everywhere that we go for M3 and for Madison more broadly. I can tell you stories. It's amazing how it resonates. So it really is working. And of course, continued funding will help us to continue our levels of support above. And we're also making more progress this year on 4 main objectives. We're going to keep promoting Madison as Indiana's Music City, and doing that with a whole host of new content, new merchandising, and new strategies. We're going to continue to fill the pipeline with up-and-coming young musicians. We were just talking about youth musicians earlier. This is something that's very, very important to us. We want to make sure that our musicians, when they retire, there's still something here, you know, we have a whole pipeline of musicians. We're going to be, we want to do whatever we can to promote and encourage, large capacity venues in town, because it's kind of the missing piece right now. Anything that we can do to get bigger shows in occasionally is really, really great. And of course, supporting music and performance diversity. That's the other major thing that we want to do, is not just have similar kinds of bands, have a whole diversity for a whole range of customer bases, because our tourists don't fall into one category. And some of them may feel a bit left out if they're looking for a really nice evening out. You should be able to do everything from go slum it at a dive bar and have a great old, you know, time, all the way up to having a really elegant date night, or, you know, just a, you know, a really casual evening somewhere, something quiet, something loud, something interesting. You know, we want to keep that diversity going. So we're going to be launching programs to do that. And that's where we are right now, but it's heating up, and I'm pretty excited with where we're headed, and we couldn't have done it without you. So thank you very, very much.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Mhm.
Yes, good job, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll leave. We'll get out of here.
Well, are there any questions
Yeah.
for Charlie or Michael?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I love M3 and I think you guys are killing it, you know.
Thank you.
You brought up diversity, and I wanted to talk to you guys about, this could be a side note, but, you know, music in the park with Main Street.
Yeah.
You brought up the diversity piece, and we were trying to like hone in on like a Hispanic type band, because I think there is like that communities in
Sure.
Madison, and
Sure.
trying to target that in or dial that in a little
Mhm.
bit, I think would be really cool.
Mhm.
And then, are you guys present on Instagram yet?
We are actually working on that. We're trying to coordinate our social media accounts so that we can seamlessly post between Facebook
Yeah.
and Instagram. So.
I'd love for you guys to be on Instagram, just like when because we talk about music and stuff and on Instagram, and
You've been
then,
tasked with that.
okay, cool.
But no, let's have a side conversation.
Yeah.
I'll look you up and we'll talk about the Hispanic thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
Absolutely.
And a lot of that is, I know you guys are making that connection, but, you know, from my standpoint, Matt, Arini, you know, definitely Victoria, you know, hoteliers and Airbnb people, you know, having that, we bring them in, we got them here, and putting them, this is where it's going, you know, we just send them that link.
Yep.
And, cause we get asked all the time, where do you eat? What's there to do? You know, and we connect them with BMI's page. We absolutely do. But having those extra little cherries on top of that sundae is nice.
One of the hoteliers, she runs an Airbnb. She's on my email list. And she prints that thing out and puts it in her Airbnb. I mean,
Cool.
she makes a point of putting it there. If I am late on my email or something, she's like, where's my list, man? I've got guests coming this weekend.
Yeah.
She is very, she runs the Hunger House down there,
Okay.
next to the post
Yeah.
office. She's a really good at, and people love it. They love, oh man, here's the music calendar for the weekend. So we're gonna work on
does,
offering
I'd
that to everybody.
Jess usually sets me up with stuff for HMI,
Good.
you know, that I put at stores, and I would love to be able to do that.
Mhm.
You know, with like a music
Yeah.
calendar, that's great.
Subscribe to my email.
Then I can print it out, okay.
Yeah, cause I plug into your guys'
Yes.
weekend posts, and then, but we do a lot of like, a lot of our marketing through Insta stories and Facebook stories and stuff. So then I like to tag, well, one time I tagged the music, cause there is a music movement, but I think it's Todd's like personal page. And so it went back to, you know, so, but anyways, I think it'd be great if you guys did have an Instagram page, to just help you out.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you guys.
Sure.
Hey, thanks, everyone.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Absolutely.
Jess, if you'd be so kind, if you have anything at all, you don't have to, but if you have anything for Jefferson County Tourism Alliance.
We're supposed to have a meeting,
Yeah,
maybe?
well,
Possibly.
we just met in
Oh,
January,
yeah,
right?
we did. So we have-
No,
So-
we did.
I was gonna ask
April.
you guys, because when I
Okay.
was listening to the meeting, I'm like, wait, there was an alliance meeting, but they
Oh,
didn't mention it
Right, yes,
at
okay.
the board
Okay,
meeting,
so,
so.
yeah, I can give you a little, let me find it here in the magical notebook.
Matt and Rini, this is what we were talking about, the JCTA.
Oh, it'd be
Yeah,
great
yeah.
if you ever
Yeah,
got to go to one of those.
Okay.
or-
yeah, go to one of those,
It's
please.
neat,
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Yes.
April
so-
17th?
No, it was January 17th.
When is the next?
The next
So
one.
we had super great conversation. It'll be in April. We haven't decided yet.
Okay.
It's penciled in on mine as the 17th of April, but that's penciled in.
Right.
Got lucky in there.
So lots of updates from all of our alliance members. Some people are looking at doing more things and some people are getting help, which is great. So one of the big ones was, Main Street has, more help. So they hired another full-time person, which is really awesome. And the History Center also hired someone to help, which we know how crucial having people really is. And so that was a really great thing to hear. We talked a little bit about the innkeeper's bill. And just really updates. A
Which is
lot
good.
of places, a lot of places are looking at doing more this year. So that's Lanier, Springdale, us, different kinds of exhibits, but also preparing for the regular things too. So Madison and Bloom is back. This is the 30th garden tour for them. So that'll be really cool. And they're doing a really cool workshop, something that they haven't really ever done before, for fascinators, which are the fancy hats you wear at the Derby. And they have a lady coming who's a 5-time Derby winner for her hat design. And so they're doing, that with the folk school, which is just amazing. So we've seen all kinds of new growth and development and tons of new ideas and discussions. And we're also thinking about October and the preservation conference and what that looks like for all of us partners and all those great people coming to town. So it was really just kind of a catching up, getting to see everybody, talking about things, and planning for the new year. Every time I go to that meeting, I'm always blown away with what we learn and what we can share with each other and what we can improve on. And it's just been phenomenal. And we do have a new alliance member, which is Alex Helton from Madtix. So she is now joined the fold. She's pretty much working with everybody anyway. So we thought it would make sense for her to come to the meetings. So
Great.
I think that's most of it. Does that make sense, Andrew?
It was a
Yeah.
lot of updates.
It was a lot of updates
Yeah.
and great conversation about how we can partner and who's doing what, and even a little bit of why it worked or why it didn't work, and what we're gonna do going forward, which I just think is great.
Well, in the spirit of communication and connectivity, like, Rainey, I really want you to at least to go to one of them for that Clifty connection, right? And then after that, if you would be so kind to task someone that communicates with you to really be plugged into this group. And Jess, I was gonna ask you or Andrew, is Hanover, have they kind of fallen off? And or
Yeah,
Hanover College, like those two?
I can tell you, so
Yeah.
I didn't talk about this at the Alliance because we were doing updates, but I achieved one of my goals that's been on the rail forever, which I have a formal, regular appearance from the Hanover Science Center
Great.
on the regular.
Great.
Yeah, Professor
Great.
Steiner
That's
came
awesome.
to our history day for
Steve
Leadership
did?
Jefferson, yeah.
Great guy.
And
Awesome.
so we have that connection now, so all of the museum people have gotten together twice.
Okay,
That's.
Well,
that's
3
good.
times really, because we were all together last week too.
I mean, just
So-
having that connection with
Yeah.
Hanover, like we're, yeah.
He didn't come to an alliance meeting, but at least it's happening. And we'll see, but Town of Hanover and Hanover College, we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
So,
My question is, with the Alliance, you said that a lot of people are be able to hire people and do more stuff. Are they working together on like people finding the grants? Are they you know what I mean, like? if they
yeah, we
didn't
had
know, are
multiple
they?
discussions about grant opportunities. So Kim, of course, had ideas for Springdale for signage things.
Great.
Either through the city or for the Arts Commission. There were also conversations about the T-Mobile grant and all kinds of other things showing up. Yeah, and just
Good.
generally partnering too.
Right.
So Lanier is working with a business in town and with not the history center, who else are they working with? Springdale.
Yeah.
So they're gonna do something with Springdale this year, which is just great. That all of that partnering and all of that stuff is really gonna pay off.
Does this meeting get broke down? Like, is there like a note taker? Is there any type of like?
We have kept minutes, yep.
Okay.
Yep, it's, a lot of it's updates.
Yeah.
So, but it's a lot of updates from each of the organizations, and they all say, well, we're doing this, and then somebody looks across the room and goes, well, I can maybe help with that part of it, or.
It's a great connection.
Yeah.
It's a
What
great
was cool is
connector.
It's that communication
was
piece,
already happening.
that
And they
relationship
look-
piece.
They look across the table and go, hey, so we are doing this really cool thing with the History Center coming up in May.
Yeah.
So rather than looking around going, how could we partner? A lot of that last meeting was, we're partnering with you on this, we're
Yeah.
partnering with you on this, and so it was.
And we had this amazing conversation about like a whole month of things that we could all do, that we can't do in 2024, but we could maybe do in 2025. And just being able, like, I don't think in the almost 3 years I've been here that we have talked more than 1 year in advance, but we did it. It happened. And that was really cool.
Yeah, that means you'll
That's
still
a
be
big
talking, which is
step.
good.
Yeah. So I think we're really growing in that, and adding Alex to the mix was great because she really is partnering with almost everyone that was there. And just having that open conversation, get people thinking and talking and doing those things, it's really still going really well.
I'll make sure I get you on the, because I think I copied all of the Board of Tourism members on those emails that go out about the Alliance, and I need to get both of you on.
Okay,
So I'll add you, because
Well-
then you get the minutes
And I know that we keep Hanover included. When I send out my emails, like the one you get, Wendy, I always send them to Hanover. I just don't always hear back. Sometimes I have better luck with people I have relationships with at Hanover, but that's not who they want to come to the Alliance meetings, so.
Yeah,
It's
I
it's
don't
just
know,
the-
Dave.
being a
you-
large organization.
I mean, I have relationships with some of the people that are on the government side of it, but it still doesn't seem
I
to,
think they're all working, so.
yeah, I think so
Yeah.
too. I think that's
It's
a
a hard
big
thing
part
to
of
do.
it is that most of them are working.
And we were faster. We were done by 11. Did we do it 2 hours?
It
We were
ended, it
close.
ended up being 11:30,
But still, that's half an hour faster.
yeah,
So
Well,
we're
it's hard when
trying
you
to
have
make
that
this-
many partners, which is a
yeah.
good and bad thing.
It is.
But that's, yeah, that table's usually full.
Well, this last meeting, we talked about what worked well in 23, and then we talked about what's coming up in 24, and then we went around and we talked about what's happening in each individual organization, so we had kind of a lot on our plate this time around, so.
Now, Scott Davidson, he's full-time there, right?
No.
No,
Okay, well, all right. But still, Hanover College needs to be represented.
Yeah.
That's,
My sales director is alumni from Hanover,
okay,
and I'll try to see what she can do,
yeah,
because she's pretty active out there.
great, great,
Good thought.
yeah,
but still going strong.
good, thank you,
Great.
Jess, for that.
Welcome.
Next, go ahead, I'm sorry, Jim.
Just a quick question, for VMI, for, HMI, and if you feel comfortable speaking for anybody else. April 8th is the eclipse. Any special plans there? I know we're not in the 100% zone.
Lanier's doing a thing the Sunday before,
Mhm.
but I think that's the only real eclipse connection.
Cookies,
Doing a cookout and back that whole day.
Yeah.
Well, from 1 to 4.
And Eleutherian was encouraging people to come park out there, but they had no
Parking.
plan and.
There's no
Yeah.
running water,
Yeah.
right?
No, there's
yeah,
nothing out
there's
there,
nothing
so
out there
I
to
don't
make
know.
it hard.
Yeah.
Cause they are in full totality,
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I don't know.
and that,
No one else I know of has said anything.
no, it's, I've got an email queued up to send out to our tourism partners this week. Businesses and partners like, HMI and Historical Society, to ask, what are you doing? And encourage them to plan something if they haven't, even if it's just eclipse themed. We have a number of businesses that are really good at doing themes on Main Street. And so we want them to plan something that's on theme, then we're gonna put together already got a logo put together. We're gonna put together a kind of a little brochure or flyer we can get out to all the hotels and Airbnbs that say, this is what's happening in Madison that weekend before. Because I think a lot of the people, even if they're staying here, they will, if they're driving, and they need a hotel, they will drive north to North Vernon or Greensburg or Indianapolis up to the 500, they're doing a big thing up there.
Mhm.
They want to be in totality. And we toyed with the idea of planning something that would be up in the northern part of the county or the western part of the county. But it's a 50% chance of being cloudy that day. Plus you're looking at, historically, it's a 50% chance of being cloudy that day. Plus you're looking at early April, usually wet. So even if we find a place, the ground could be sopping wet. And then you've got transportation back and forth. You've got porta potties, you've got food trucks, you've got all that. All for something that may be cloudy. And so we did not want to invest the money to do something like that. On the day of, we want to try and encourage our tourism partners to do things that we can do for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, come stay in Madison and be here. And then if you want to watch the eclipse in DuPont or go on up to North Vernon or Greensburg or Columbus, go right ahead, but stay here in Madison. So that's kind of been our way that we're handling it.
Thank you all. We need to vote on officers right now. The slate that's present is, I'm the president, Victoria Perry's the vice president, Dave Bramer's the treasurer, Wendy Lawson's the secretary. That's how it is right now. Would anyone like to make a motion to keep it that way?
I'd like to make that motion that the officers still say the same.
I second that.
Okay, you two.
We're the new ones, so.
No.
We have no judgment.
They get real fast.
It's so all good.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
We could vote.
Let's just say that we can. So moved. I will do it for one more year, so. And then Victoria will be president. So, next month, on the 18th, we have our special, board meeting where we will hear, the grant applicants, and I think you said March 4th. Something like that, first week of March. beginning of
Yeah,
March.
there was, an old file that got around. The dates I've now updated, so if you have anybody who needs the updated file, let me know and I can shoot
Okay.
that over to them.
Was there anything wrong with the old file
No,
other
file
than the
was
date
fine.
that
It
was on it?
Just at the very end, it just had the dates, it had
Okay.
old dates on it, but I
I'm
think it's
guilty.
from when I just made it originally. and I
I'm
didn't
guilty
update
of
it.
sending it out to several folks,
That's
but
okay.
if that's
Tony
the only,
Navella's been texting me, kind of
Mhm.
panicking that he
Kim,
had the dates
Kim
wrong.
just texted Panic
Yeah.
and she's like, what's the date?
No.
It's February. I said,
So if anyone needs an updated file, let me know and I'll get that. over to you.
Victoria, could I have it? please?
Yes, you may.
Cause I am with you. I'm probably gonna.
The deadline is the 4th.
Yeah,
Or-
it's,
So we have our special meeting on the 18th, and then, we'll listen to the applicants. We'll receive them a couple weeks before for us to kind of review them, write down notes. Hear it on the 18th, and then we'll discuss it, and then, grant those monies on the 25th.
Is that meeting here too?
Yeah, all of our meetings will be here.
Okay.
Yeah, unless Dave changed that. And if he does, then we'll know. Does anybody have anything else to add to that?
have you gotten?
Mr. Dimmer, you got anything to add?
You voted, so
All right,
that's what the brought up last month. So
you did, and I appreciate that. Well, everybody else good?
I'm good.
Anyone else want to say anything? You got a big speech, Matt? You wanna?
Nope,
Okay. all
not
right.
today, maybe
All right,
next time.
maybe next time. all right. We'll make a motion.
I'll move.
Where you moving?
Where you moving? Meeting
I'll
adjourned.
move that we adjourn.
Second.
So moved. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll do that.
It wouldn't hurt if you emailed